What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for continuing to tap in on the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I'm looking forward to having a phenomenal week, ladies and gentlemen. What's the word? It's supposed to say Thunderbird. Thunderbird, what's happening? I feel great. A lot of people keep saying, Anton, you know, you sound, get the whatever, tea, honey, all of this different stuff that y'all want me to get for my voice. But I always sound like this when I come from a Patreon meetup. So shout out to the bag chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members. We did a Patreon meetup in New York over this past weekend. So it was an opportunity for me to see some old faces, some new faces, different people that allowed for me to be able to hopefully pour into you and add value into your life. And we had a good time, man. So shout out to all of my people in New York. It was actually bigger than the time that we did it last year. So we got a lot of new bag chasers, a lot of new people that's a part of the fold. I was incredibly excited to be able to tap in with y'all. It was great, but I also had an epiphany over this weekend, so I'm going to go over that in a minute. Let me give a shout out to my first super chatter of the day. Ray Sean in the building says, one of the best things about the meetup is hearing about the growth people have made since I last saw them. Shout out to the bag chasers. A lot of times people don't understand, and I tell them, I emphasize is that if you're not connecting with the other people that's in the room, in addition to connecting with me, then you're doing yourself a disservice, because your tribe is also the people that will pour into you, add value into your life, hold you accountable, and then your network is going to be your net worth. So shout out to all of the new bag chasers. Shout out to the people that's prospered and grown since the last time that we did the New York meetup. Yeah, man, it's great. It was a great time, great event. New York, I love New York. It was awesome. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description. Thank you, Ray Sean. I appreciate you, big dog. If you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, in addition to that, Heather said, now, Anton, you have double dipped in every city but LA
when you coming back to Cali for the second meetup, bro? I'm coming back this year. Listen, I'm gonna tell you why, Heather Woods. I'm gonna tell you why I haven't hit LA in a minute. Why I haven't did the meetup in LA is because I try to do the majority of the cities that would normally be cold in the winter or the fall. I do those in the summer, and then I come back around and I tap into the LAs and the Atlantas and all of that afterwards. So it's not that I haven't tapped back into LA. It's more that I just haven't had the opportunity to get back around because the weather has allowed for me to be able to tap into, the other cities. That's incredibly awesome. So shout out to New York. I will be out in LA soon, but I will be also announcing the next meetup location. I'm dropping a video on the Patreon today. I got a lot of great things. So if y'all not a part of what it is that we got going and putting together as far as the network, the opportunities, you need to tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, make sure you get that Teach Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is also in the description. If you do not have your Teach pack, then you're doing yourself disservice. Let's run that Teach pack out. All right. Anthony says, is the Patreon and the Bag Chasers the same thing? It is. It is the label that we've given ourselves to be able to identify more effectively. But we all connected through the Patreon, and then we tap into the Discord that allows for us to be able to become even more involved in each other's lives. So shout out to the Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members. It's also my mother's birthday, and Rayshawn also. So shout out to my mom. I talked to her this morning. It's her birthday. 67, 69 years. God, I done forgot the amount. I think my mom is 67 years old. Let me see something. Let me see. Let me see something. Let me see. Mother dear. Mama dear. I think she's 67. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I want to see how what my 67-year-old mother looked like. This is actually from a year ago. Let me see if I can pull this up. Actually, it's not. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can pull up what my mom looks like at 67 years old. I like to keep my family secret at this point. But my Dukes is dope. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Let me see if I can get something up here. 720 by 1080. Let me see if I can get my Dukes up here. I don't know. I got to give you a shout out, though.
Know you bad when you can post from any angle.
Mom is actually more fit than that. So shout out to my Dukes. You absolutely gorgeous. We love you, baby. Talk to you this morning. You are taken care of. You are absolutely awesome. So shout out to my mom, making these chicks jealous as fuck, stunting on them, on their head top, killing them. We love you, baby. We love you. All right. All right, let me read a few more super chats and then we're gonna get it popping with the show. Alvin S is in the building. I appreciate you, Alvin. Says blessings, OG and AD and the beautiful lady Rita. It was great to see you guys again at the NYC meetup. Love and appreciate you, Bag Chasers for life. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Appreciate all of my Bag Chasers and my people in the building that came through and kicked it with me. out here in these streets in New York. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you, Alvin S, for rocking out with me and showing up, big dog. Tell the lady I said what up, though. Let's see what else we got. Toy Bands is in the building. Toy Bands says, salute fam, couldn't make the meetups. Mom's passed this week. I'll definitely be at the next one. Hey, man, prayers up. Got to take care of family. Prayers up, bro. God bless you. Let me know if you need anything. I don't expect for you to be at the meetup if you going through a life event, fam. So God bless you, man. I'm praying for you and your family. Lifestyle Enthusiast is in the building. Shout out to the Lifestyle Enthusiast. Says, good morning, Big Unc. Trying to get a one-on-one. I reached out to your email, but I got a response. You are not available. Can we get together? If you're a part of the Patreon, send me a message on Patreon, and we're going to kick it. But shout out to my Patreon members, my bag chasers. Send me a message on Patreon, and I'm going to try to get you in. I'm going to try to convince Rita to be able to get you in, big dog. Taureen Thomas is in the building. Says, good morning, Anton. I listen to you daily, getting myself together and working on my PMP and certified Scrum Master certification. Shout out to the bag chasers. Hey, keep it up, big dog. I appreciate you. Just Juan is in the building. Says, when are you coming to Boston or going to do a meetup in Detroit? I did a meetup last year in Detroit. I don't know. I'll keep y'all posted. I'll tell y'all what the next location of the meetup is going to be. Shout out to Just Juan. I appreciate you. Lil Black Duck 2001 is in the building. I appreciate you. Says, good morning, Anton. The meetup was fire. And a special thanks to you, Miss Rita. She helped my wife feel so comfortable. Happy birthday to your mom and salute to the bag chasers. Shout out to Lil Black Duck 2001 for showing up and popping out. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Again, get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And last but not least, if you're not a part of the bag chasers, the Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I yelled my voice out. I was partying. I was having a good time. Shout out to everybody that showed up at the Patreon today. So, with that being said, let me give y'all a little bit of an update. So, I'm in a Teams meeting this morning, and I'm jabbering back and forth with people at the job. And I've been contemplating this. And after this weekend, I flew into New York on Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night. And we out and we partying and all of that stuff. And so we start going through our schedule and, me and my daughter and stuff like that. And we got Japan, Tokyo coming up. And everything is so difficult for me to be able to move around as much as I used to, primarily because I'm just a lot more busy, right? And so even me having to contain my mornings to be available, and some of y'all that's been on the coaching calls and stuff like that, you already know that how I manage my schedule. I share my schedule with y'all. A lot of the bag chasers is familiar with it. It's becoming more and more difficult. And so I'm talking to somebody on at the job this morning, and they said, Anton, I need you to do this, and you're going to have to become more involved, and you might have to come into the office some more. I said, oh, okay. All right. When I woke up this morning, I said, God, give me the signs that I need to make the difficult decisions in order to make sure that I'm continuing to trudge forward, and I'm not hindering myself, and I'm not preventing myself from really, really becoming what it is that I'm supposed to be. And so a lot of times God will communicate to you, in my opinion, in ways that you don't really think that he's communicating, because you think that it's supposed to be a specific voice and a face that comes out of the sky and reveal it to you. But God often at times reveals things to you, in my opinion, through the people that you surround yourself with the circumstances that you face, and more importantly, he'll put it right in front of your face. You just got to be able to pay attention to the signs. Now, the people that's a part of the Patreon, you've also understood that I've shared with you my earnings and my W-2s and everything of what I make at that position. So you know that this is not just a light decision. Shout out to Sherwin Williams. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. The reason why it's so difficult for me to go ahead and let it go is because a lot of y'all understand the amount of bags that we busting down. at this place. Shout out to Jaquel. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. This is not a light decision. This is a lot of money. This ain't no $100,000 a year. This ain't no $250,000 a year. I'm making an egregious amount of money at my day job. And as a bag chaser, A, I owe you the responsibility of being transparent. And then B, I also have to be absolutely honest about what the value of my time is, right? And so when I'm determining whether or not I'm going to walk away from a position or if I need to quit this job, I'm looking at the bonuses. I'm looking at the base pay. I'm looking at the 401ks. I'm looking at all of that, right? And so, like I said, the people that's a part of the Patreon, you know that it's well over $500,000 a year. And listen, I don't care where you at, what you do for a living, how much you making in your businesses, how much content creation is paying you, what you busting down when it comes to real estate or whatever. If you making over $500,000 a year, that is a hard sell to walk away from. So let me ask y'all a question before we really deep dive into the show, because this show is largely going to be based off of having conversations on capitalism. We're going to deep dive into the chick in Alabama. I want to share with y'all a couple of different things. It's a TikTok surgeon has recently lost their license. It's a lot that's going on, right? So let me ask y'all a question in the chat, and I'm watching y'all, and I like to interact with my people in the chat. Here's my question. At what point, what is the determining factor? And I'm not even really sourcing what y'all think I'm going to say. What is the determining factor for whether or not you're going to quit your job? I see Portfolio saying, nope, don't let it go. Jay Reed says, school them on capitalism versus socialism. What is the determining factor for whether or not you're going to walk away from your position? Because I will tell you this. Most people think that having your own business makes you a boss or that you buy your time back and all of that other type of shit. Jake Fever said bills. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's have a conversation that we have often at times. How much is your time worth? Your time is not worth how much you make per hour on your job. How much is your time worth? Some people said health, death, money. Ali Music said they got to fire me when you start losing bigger bags to become of it. If you found a better one, if you find something better, the amount of time and freedom it gives me when it doesn't make sense anymore, energy, new position. Y'all saying a lot of things. Depends on how much you lose. Executive Suite MLE is in the building. Shout out to you. Sabrina says no more growth, no more money and more growth. Definitely times. It pays poorly and it's a toxic environment. Well, that's not a factor for me, right? Because it has nothing to do with whether it pays poorly. It pays me phenomenally, right? But it's a couple different factors. But in order for me to teach you this, because remember, on the Millionaire Morning Show, it all comes back down to the money, right? In order for me to teach you this, I got to go back to, especially for the people that's just joining us for the first time. My voice is a little hoarse because I was, having a good time in New York, Patreon meetup and all of that. All right, so let's break it down. How much is your time worth for the people that's new to here? Your time is worth not necessarily how much you make per hour on your job. Your time is worth how much you make per year divided by 8,760, which is the amount of hours in a year, right? So, for example, if you make $100,000 a year, your time is worth somewhere around $11 and $12 an hour. That means that's how much you make when you sleep, how much you make when you woke, when you at work, when you're playing with your daughter, if you play video games. If you decide to entertain this chick for the streets, your time is worth basically the difference between somewhere in between $11 and $12 an hour. Okay, cool. So now that we've got that established, let's throw away the myth that it's bad to have a regular job. Let's throw away the myth that it's bad to have a regular job. It's not. Because whether you build your own business or you working for somebody else, the value is how much they pay you for your time. The value is how much they pay you for your time. So you have to trade in your time for money every day. And the myth is just because you own your own business that make you a boss. For most of these people, owning their own business makes them broke because they work way harder for less money and less benefits which doesn't make it worth them actually spreading out and going on their own because they don't understand business and they don't understand how money works, right? So just because you start your own business doesn't mean that your life is going to be easier. It means that you don't have healthcare coverage. Dental means that you don't have a guaranteed job, which nothing is guaranteed because you can get laid off at any time. It also means that you may or may not make money that week because you eat what you kill, right? And nobody is going to pay you an hourly wage just based off of your ability to be able to generate revenue on your own time. So now that we got that out of the way, what I'm trying to tell you is that when you trading your time for money, then we start to add in the other factors. So the other factors are, and this is one of the biggest things for the bag chasers, is it worth it for me to use this time to continue to make money, or is there something else more valuable that I'm missing out on? That other thing that's more valuable can be making more money because you can allocate more time and resources into your business. It could be that you've gotten to the point, shout out to Lifestyle Enthusiasts, I'm going to read that super chat shortly. It could be that now you've had the ability to buy your time back, and because you've made enough money, or you have a big enough nest egg, or you made enough investments that you want to start to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you put so much time into building up your brand and your businesses. It could be a lot of different factors, right? It could be that you don't want the stress of taking on additional projects, or you don't want to adjust or possibly lose any money or lose any growth or traction on the things that you're building because it's now requiring more of your time. And most people can't really do a real good evaluation because they're so busy focused on whether or not social media considers them a boss instead of focusing on whether or not they're going to make enough money to be able to survive and then thrive. One of the reasons why it's so easy for me to take this into consideration, and then on the flip side, why it's so difficult for me to take this into consideration, is because A, I have no bills. Every bill that I have is associated with the business. So the business generates the revenue then generates whatever it is that I have to do from a bill perspective, such as, for example, I got a bill with this studio, but this studio is largely paid for by the amount of energy and revenue that's generated in the building. So I needed this in order to continue to generate more revenue. It makes it much easier for us to do our jobs, do interviews, so on and so forth, so I can justify the cost of this building. As far as regular consumer debt, we have none though. So that makes it much easier, right? The flip side is it's more difficult because you still leaving a whole lot of fucking money on the table. It's a lot of money still being left on the table. You see what I'm saying? You still got that 401k. You still got that healthcare coverage. We still have insurance. And I'm not just talking about your regular insurance. I'm talking about also life insurance. That factors into it. So it's a lot of different things that goes into it, right? But ultimately, after having a discussion over the weekend and looking at my calendar and my schedule and my trajectory, I realized that I'm probably leaving more bags on the table at this point than I can justify by staying in a position in which they pay me a lot of money, but I can make way more outside of it. And I've afforded myself the ability to buy my time back, right? So it's time to enjoy life. I'm 41 years old. My father never got to the point of his life in which he was ever able to retire, and he thought that he was going to work for the rest of his life. When he died broke, and he died in debt. And I am the complete opposite of that at this point in my life, right? So, y'all know I'm building the rental properties. I'm going to be doing a live stream on the Patreon about that. We got a lot going on from a business perspective. And here's the other factor. This was the determining factor, right? I have such great relationships and such a phenomenal network that at any point I can go back and get that bag again. Or I can always go and get another job if I just wanted another job. I can always go back and get a bag, right? The things that we've been able to do in corporate America is not luck. It is intentional, right? So if at any point I always got this in my back pocket, always got it in my back pocket. So you guys are the first to know. I will also tell you that the plan is to basically give them my notice at the end of next month when I come back from Japan. So I'm tying all of my loose ends. I'm making sure that everything is updated. I am making sure that all of the projects is going to be tied with a bow tie, and I want to leave on good terms. And then after I leave the position, I will be updating my LinkedIn, and you guys will be able to go back and see exactly where I worked at, right? After I leave the position, you guys will be able to go to my LinkedIn. I will update my LinkedIn with the position, and you'll be able to go back and see exactly where I worked at, all right? So it is that time. It's time to take that next step in the direction that I think that we supposed to be going in. I've allowed myself to really, really be able to buy my time back. I've made a lot of money. I got all of the bonuses. And my daughter is in high school. And so I want to spend more time doing things that's meaningful to me. I'm going to be traveling the world. I'm going to different countries that do not allow for me to be able to work from there because it is not on the approved list of countries that I can work from based off of the encryption and the remote logging in and stuff like that. And I'm never fucking going back into the office. That's over. I'm not going back into the office. Last time I went back into the office, I said, nah, this is cool, this is cute, but it was a time for this, and now I'm in a whole nother space. So next month, I will be turning in my notice, and it's time to move on from corporate America. And then next year, I start building my dream house. That's to come. That's new information. So thank you guys for continuing to support me and allowing me to be able to live my life as an open book on these platforms. I will keep you guys updated, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get into the show. And shout out to Top Notch Rocker. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly also. Sharon Williams says, good meeting you over the weekend, bro. Respect to you. Respect to you also, my friend. I appreciate you, Sherwin Thomas. Dope guy. I appreciate you. Jaquel PF says, greetings and blessings to you, brother. Shout out to you and the wife. It was an honor meeting you both, and your energy is real and authentic. Hashtag light chasers. Shout out to Jaquel PF. I appreciate you, big dog, and thank you for coming out and kicking it with me for this weekend. Executive Suite MLE, my guy. My guy. Hey, I might tote one up, a cigar this weekend, or maybe even tonight on Q's show on the Anton Daniels channel on my other channel. Yeah, man. You were dope, bro. Says, what up, big dog? The meetup was great. Shout out to you and Rita. It was a pleasure. And McAllen and the cigars was on deck. Shout out to you, big dog. Oh, man. I9. King Collins says, I'm in the Patreon. Can't find the Discord link. It's linked in any of the most recent videos. If you go into the description of any of the most recent videos, King Collins, the link to the Discord is there. All right, big dog? Lifestyle Enthusiast is in the building. Shout out to you with the 10 ball. Says, Big Uncle, I'm a bag chaser now on Patreon, and I've sent a message regarding a one-on-one. Looking forward to meeting and taking. Shout out to you. I'm going to check that out, big dog. Top Notch Rocker is in the building. Says, AD, did you hear about the brother accepting $2,500 settlement from Greyhound Bus Company for the crash last week? He fumbled major dollars. Now, hey, send me that. Send me that. Email me that. AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. So I can go and review that. Nah, I haven't heard about that. Y'all be knowing about stuff, and now y'all don't be putting me up on game. So send me that so I can check that out. And then I'm going to rock out with that. Shout out to the Stock Brother in the building. Stock Brother, shout out to you. Jesus fucking Christ. Stock Brothers out here in these streets. Said, I'm a YouTuber that shows people how to make money through trading stocks, but I respect your real estate game. Let's keep getting that money. Shout out. Let me give me one more applause, y'all. Yo, I appreciate you, Stock Bro. Let's link up, big dog. J1 is also in the building. God damn it. What the hell is that? J1 is in the building. Says, layers of respect to the Daniels families. NYC meetup was lit. Always a treat to politic with y'all. Hey, me and J1 talked for a long time. I'm trying to convince J1 on how it is that he need to move and take more risks. And it's funny because as soon as J1 walked up to me, he was like, yeah, man, the last time we talked, he was like, you was right, bro. You was right about all of it. And then he started acting apprehensive about the new advice that I was giving him. J1, you got this, bro. You got it, bro. And thank you for the 50 ball. Thank y'all. Stock Brother, make sure y'all go and tap into Stock Brother. Go and visit his YouTube channel. That's my guy. Goth Baddie is in the building. Shout out to you for the 5 ball. I appreciate you. Just came through and then dropped that in the collection plate. Also says, just connected with you on LinkedIn. I'm a senior QA engineer. Shout out to you. I'm going to be tapping in on LinkedIn and updating that. I got to do my acceptances and stuff like that. Yeah, man, let's get into the show, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Somebody fill me in, y'all. Somebody fill me in. So I've been kind of in and out and paying attention to what's been going on with baby girl, this Alabama woman that vanished after being finessed by a toddler. Let's get into it. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, man. I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are on this.
Tonight, relief for family and friends of Carlee Russell.
I'm so thankful that Carlee is home safe.
Her safe return also prompting new questions about her disappearance. The 25-year-old who had been missing for 2 days returned to her family home on foot and alone late Saturday night, police say. They provided no details about where she'd been or on her condition. But
so, let's mine this out, y'all. Let's mine this out. So, she was driving down a highway. All right? She was driving down a highway. And she seen a toddler. Now, no other cars, nobody else seen it. Nobody seen nothing. She was the only person that seen a toddler walking down the side of the road. I'm just breaking down the story, all right? Seen a toddler walking down the side of the road in a diaper, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it was her imagination. I don't know if it was real, but apparently there was a lot of cars driving down the road. She was the only person that seen the toddler. All right? She stopped to get the toddler. Then somehow, some way, she got kidnapped. It started a massive search. Big Sugg said it was a bait toddler. Listen, bro, I was driving down the hood, and one of the hoodest of hoods down 7 Mile, and it was a grown woman walking down the street that looked distressed. It was cars pulling over, trying to help her. I tried to give her my shirt. We was calling the police. Everybody was about to crash trying to stop this woman from looking under duress. I posted it on my Instagram. Honestly, in the hood. Now, she driving down a busy street, and I'm just minding it out because I don't know if it's true or not. She's driving down a busy street, and we got to use our context clues, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to Umar Johnson, before we get to this lady that lost her license, we got to get into that. She's driving down the street. It's a bait toddler. That's what y'all telling me. Somebody put the rope on the toddler, or they was hiding in the woods, and they put the toddler out there. They're not worried about everybody else seeing a toddler. They just want to go for one black woman that's going to pull over and try to help the toddler, and nobody else is going to see the toddler. Okay, cool. Cool. 2 days later, after a massive search, you just walk back normal. Clothes on. Everything is just regular. You just walk back normal, go into the crib, and be like, I'm back.
Say medics responded and took Russell to a hospital for evaluation.
You spoke to this family moments after Carlee came home.
Right.
What did they say?
It was just kind of like a very emotional phone call.
Angela Harris has been leading search efforts on the ground in Hoover, Alabama.
And I said, is this true? Is Carlee back home? And she said, yes, yes, yes. Carlee's here. She's here.
The reunion bringing an end to the urgent search that began Thursday night after police say Russell called 911 to report a toddler walking on Interstate 459. Police telling NBC.
So she called 911 to report a toddler walking on the interstate in Alabama, high traffic interstate. A toddler is walking down the street. No other calls. Nobody else seen it. Cars is going in and out, zooming, so on and so forth. Nobody else. Listen, when you call the police, in most instances, if something happened, they'd be like, oh, yeah. We getting a lot of calls about it. We going to send the police over, whatever, so on and so forth. Nobody's saying anything. All right, cool. I just want to make sure that we all seeing this, because I'm not saying it did happen. I'm not saying it didn't happen. All I'm saying is this is what's being reported, and so this is all the information that we have.
NBC News, they're analyzing this chilling video from the interstate where Russell vanished, appearing to show a car driving slowly with its flashers on before coming to a stop. Hours before she was found, Russell's mom telling NBC News a family member was on the phone with her daughter right before she vanished.
So was it 911 or was it a family member? Was it 911? Because one report state that she called 911 and was like, yo, it's a little man walking down the street. The next person, the family member, is saying, listen, I was on the phone with her right before she vanished.
She says Russell stopped to check on the child, and then
she heard a scream, and then some type of running type shuffle.
Police say when they arrived, they found Russell's vehicle and personal belongings, but no sign of her or a child. Saying in a statement today, Carlee's 911 call remains the only timely report of a child.
So she the only person that's seen this kid. Carlee's 911 call remains the only timely report of a child on the interstate. If you call 911 for anything, they try to keep you on the phone so that you can give it a description. You start going in and talking about it. You know what I'm saying? They want you to understand or whatever. This is the only 911 call that remain on the books about a child that's walking down the interstate. Nobody else seen this kid except for her, according to what this is saying, the reports. No other calls, no nothing. All right, let's continue.
On the interstate.
Priscilla's with us now. So what's next in this investigation, Priscilla?
Yeah, Kate, Carlee Russell was released from the hospital today. Police say that they have spoken to her and are following up on the information she provided. Kate?
So here's my question, y'all. Here's my question. For me, I don't believe hardly anything that's presented to me just on the surface level. I have a hard time when I start using all of my context clues and just believing that that's just it. That's just it. The end of the conversation is just that you walking down the street, you see this mythical child that nobody else sees. You get out the car. We got conflicting reports of whether you was on the phone with 911 or whether you was on the phone with somebody else, in which it was some shuffling. Your stuff just disappeared. You go into the woods. You come back 2 days later, and you come home, and now everything is that's just it. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I'm not going for it. I'm not saying something did or didn't happen to her. My initial reaction is Jussie Smollett. Hey, Azriel, you got a wrench. If somebody is spamming in the chat, time them out. Don't block them, but time them out. It's giving Jussie Smollett for me. I'm not just going by it and saying, yeah, this makes sense. It's going to be more to the story. I don't know if this was properly planned out correctly. Who's just letting you go and then you could just walk home at the end of the day? You saying, wait, think about it, y'all. So you telling me you just walked home? From where? And how far did you walk? And you didn't panic and then run up to a business or run up to a stranger and say, hey, I just escaped. Oh, yo, call the police. Oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm so glad that somebody seen me. Who seen you walking? And did you stop by a business and ask them, could you call the police? So you just went home. You just went home and you opened the door and you was like, yo, I'm back. You didn't run to the neighbor's house. They just dropped you off like, hey, where you live at? You good? All right, we're going to drop you off on the corner. Okay, so Bishop says she was dropped off. Was she dropped off in front of the house? Because it's saying that she walked home. And where the baby at? Where's the baby? And I'm going to just say this too, because if you go back and look at this, if I'm using all of my context clues, right? Let me go back and show it. Hold on. That ain't no small woman that you just grabbing up on, bro. What's her Instagram? Let me see what the gram say. Listen, have you ever tried to wrestle a woman before? Whether it was in the bedroom or whether y'all was just, you had to shake her up because she was putting her hands on you and your mama told you that don't ever hit a woman. Have you ever tried to deal with a grown black woman? Have you ever tried to deal with a grown black woman that's above 150 pounds? Real talk. I'm just being honest. It's hard out here in these streets. Your dog. They will give you a run for your money, especially if you're above the age of 30. Your knee might give out. All of that shit. All I'm saying is, let's wait for the rest of the information to come out, because I'm not just going by whatever it is that they reporting or whatever it is somebody tell you. I'm not dealing with it. Look, Kyra talking about, come on now. Have you ever tried to wrestle a woman that's above 150 pounds? My daughter weighs less than 150 pounds. And when we wrestle, woo, I'll be coming up sweating. Ankle ain't feeling right. I said, Leslie, I'm not wrestling with you no more. Come on, Dad, it was so fun. Fuck that. Have y'all ever tried to grab a chick and drag her to the door? Nope. Trying to kidnap a woman today in 2023 based off of the weight requirements is the same as trying to kidnap a grown man. You're better off. Listen, when you get past a certain age, on average, most women weigh more than men. What I'm telling you is that if you're trying to kidnap a woman, you're better off trying to kidnap a man. Just purely based off of the weight requirements. You're better off trying to kidnap a man if you're going to try to get a woman. You got a 50-50 chance with both. All I'm saying is, who dropped her off and let her just walk home? And where's the baby at? And how come ain't nobody else see the baby on the highway? And did they not triangulate where the pinging her for the cell phone tower? Did they make her drop her phone? What happened? We need more. Information. All right? So, and even if you hit her with a stun gun, you know how hard it is to lift up a human body? Man, please. You lie to me. You ain't gonna just sit here and cap to me and tell me that it's just easy to pick up a black woman on the side of the road after you. First of all, you got to snatch the baby back. Then you got to be able to pick her up and take her into the car without her fighting and screaming. Who gonna stop? Who gonna do this? Who doing this? Come here, baby. Let's go and capture this black woman. Ah, shit. You lied to me. You lied to me. I want to know what the hell is happening. Because you don't just let this go. Nope. Back be hurting and all that shit. Shout out to Mel Dukes in the building. Said, did you hear about the city of Austin's mayors block state police for help and are losing police officers? I didn't. Send that to me. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Send that to me. Email that to me so that we can mine that out, big dog. I want to know about that. Shout out to Mel Duke. Crime rate has gotten out of hand. Also, Mariah Mills says Zion is a woman beater. I'm not giving that hoe. I'm not giving Mariah Mills not one more ounce of visibility because she a clout chaser. Not one more ounce of visibility because she doing my man Zion wrong. Shout out to Coach King Rod is in the building. Says, sir, thank you for the inspiration. I just leveled up by finishing massage school and becoming an LMT and getting $40 plus tips for my massages. We get into this bags. No games being played. Back in the Patreon soon. Shout out to King. King Rod is in the building. Hey, King, let me tell you this, though. Don't get me tooed out there, though. You know what I'm saying? Make them sign that agreement. You agreed to get massaged in all of the right places. Shout out to Coach King Rod. And his name is King Rod. Oh, King Rod. That's why you getting $40 tips. That's why you getting $40 tips, King Rod. Shout out to King Rod in the building. Mo Hilly. Shout out to Mo Hilly. I appreciate you. Says Hanton is giving very much Casey Anthony kill your own baby vibes. Am I wrong? I don't want to put that on her. I don't ever want to say anything happened to another kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that it's sounding crazy out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mark G. I appreciate you in the building. Mark G says XRP won a 3-year-long court case against the SEC. Crypto is here to stay, and the bull run has begun. Do your research on XRP, fam. No, I need y'all to come and educate me. I know about real estate. I don't know nothing about cryptocurrency to the point that y'all know it. Be careful, King Rod, out here in these streets. Shout out to Mark G for the 5-ball. I appreciate you. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's move on with the show. My favorite person to react to objectively. The last time that I talked about something that Umar Johnson was talking about, I actually agreed with him 100%. I didn't have one piece of pushback. I agreed with him 100%. I didn't have one piece of pushback for Umar Johnson, and I was surprised. But he was talking specifically about them boys that be going both ways. Them boys. He was talking about them boys that go both ways. So me and Umar Johnson, we don't differ in opinion when it comes to certain things. Somebody sent me a video and said Umar was having a conversation about the negative effects of capitalism. I said, oh man, Umar talking money? I got to find out what the hell is going on. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Oh shit, Rhonda Max presents. Hold on, let me get this motherfucker off the camera. Rhonda Max is out here in the building, and Rhonda says, now when Rhonda put out the 50 ball, Rhonda gets to say whatever she want to say. Rhonda Mack presents says, Anton, I told my son when he was young that he could not help anyone without my knowledge. That's a mom right there. Not even an old lady. Facts. You teaching him well. He said, Ma, I can't do that. I said, tell him your mom said you can't help anyone. Sorry, not sorry. Stay safe. Listen, this is so important, and I'm going to tell you why. A, he going to set himself up to be in harm's way. B, did you know that when you help people, you can be sued by them even if they survive? If you save their life and they get injured at the point that you saved their life, you can get sued by them? Hey, don't blame me. Don't blame Rhonda Mack. Blame society. Blame feminism. Blame these ambulance chasing lawyers. Blame the people that benefit off of your demise as a result of the things that you're doing trying to help other people. Rhonda, you are absolutely positively correct. Tell your son to protect himself first. Protect himself first. He can call the police. Hey, listen, I see something happening over there. Other than that, stay out the way. Good mom. That's a good mom right there. Let me go ahead and get into this Umar Johnson. Let's get it popping. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications.
I do not support Pan-African communism or socialism. I don't think Karl...
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now, one thing I will give Umar Johnson is that he's a lot better with his words because Anton is a C student out here in these streets. So you can't just be starting it off with all of these 3 or 4 syllable fucking words, Umar. Give me some time to catch up. Pan-Africanism, liberalism. I don't know what he just said. Give me some time.
Pan-African communism or socialism.
Pan-African communism and socialism. All right. We back.
I don't think Karl Marx or Friedrich Engels or anyone else, Joseph Stalin or any of the rest of them had anything that I feel I need to make use of in the struggle to liberate African people. As I often tell people, I am not a capitalist or a communist. I am a Pan-Africanist.
So what I'm trying to understand is the difference. I thought that a Pan-Africanist, and feel free to correct me in the chat because this is an interactive show. I thought that Pan-Africanism or a Pan-Africanist is a person that identifies a specific way based off of the fact that they black, right? And again, I'm observing, right? So he says, I'm not a socialist, I'm not a communist, and I'm not a capitalist. I'm not a socialist, I'm not a communist, I'm not a capitalist, right? So if you don't believe in socialism, which for the people in the back, let me just give you the cliff notes. Socialism is basically a way in which within society, to where everybody is kind of sort of provided for. It requires an overseer such as the government. People live easier lives. There is no incentive for you to continue to try to excel better than anybody else because you will not be rewarded as a result of it. I think it creates a lazy society and it allows for people to then become more dependent on the government in order for their survival. All right. It's take from the rich, give to the poor type of thing. It's horrible. All right, cool. Capitalism, on the flip side, is what it is that we live in society. You eat what you kill. The more that you grind, the more successful you become. But the caveat to that is the people on the bottom that choose not to participate in society or does not want to grind as hard as you are then going to be the people that suffer as a result of it. Because if you don't eat, you don't kill. Everybody don't just get an opportunity to be able to eat just because they're born. You got to actually put in your work, right? And so capitalism, while not perfect, is a system that we live in, which has allowed for us to be one of the most powerful countries on earth. Socialism is the thing that Bernie Sanders is trying to get us to be more of, in which they tax the rich 95%, give it to everybody else, and then it's no incentive for you to actually go out there and grind and hustle and become the best version of yourself, okay? Capitalism rewards the ones that's very vigilant, dedicated, work hard, intentional. But the problem is that when you look at socialism and you look at capitalism, you start to do away with the middle class because the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, because you then understand how money works and you know how to leverage that, whereas other people are just sheep and they're just a part of whatever it is that society is teaching them. But let's continue. I want to hear some of his full thoughts.
We have to understand something. The only reason why people would even begin to consider capitalism as a viable economic system of liberation is because slavery gave capitalism a 500-year head start over any other modern economic system. We were the first capital in capitalism, and African people need to understand that. The enslaved
somebody
African
in the chat,
was the
hold on, let me back up for a minute. Somebody in the chat said Anton defined communism. All right. Socialism, capitalism, and communism is completely different things. All right. So communism is basically something that was championed and highlighted by Karl Marx. When you seen and you read the Black Lives Matter's website when they first came into prominence during the pandemic, right? They existed before that, but they came into prominence in the pandemic. One of the problems that people said that they had with Black Lives Matter is that they were trained Marxists, right? They were trained Marxists, which basically mean that they advocated for a class war in which society and property is largely just publicly owned. Everything is owned by everybody, right? And you're taken care of based off of what you need. So the requirement for you, as far as a contributor into the society, is based off of what your capabilities are, but how much you're provided for is based off of what you need. So it doesn't matter how much you contribute physically. You take out of it what you need, not necessarily what you contribute, which is the complete opposite of capitalism, right? It's take from the rich, give to they say to the poor, I say to the lazy. So it's based off of, you don't get to keep what you kill, you keep what you need, and you give everything else to everybody else, and everything is publicly owned by everybody. That's what communism is, okay? Largely championed by Karl Marx. And I'm breaking it down from a C student's perspective. So when you see people, right, and a lot of y'all are not familiar with this because they throw around these big terms and then they don't want to educate you as to what they mean. It's similar to going into an information technology environment and they throwing around these big terms. But if you just understood the terms, you would understand exactly what they're communicating. Umar Johnson, for the sake of this conversation, is saying that I'm not a capitalist, I'm not a communist, and I'm not a socialist. All right?
First capital in capitalism. So when you force people to work 4 or 5 centuries for free and you build up wealth off of their backs, which gives birth to an industrial revolution, and you use that to tout how economically intelligent you are, it's very fraudulent because it was slavery that made capitalism what capitalism is.
And this is the one problem that me and Umar Johnson have a problem with, is because he's running in the Victim Olympics with this argument. Umar Johnson is saying that America benefited off of slave labor, which is one of the reasons why it became a powerhouse and why capitalism became prevalent within society today. He's right. He's absolutely right. But here's the problem with his argument. A, slavery existed way before Africans or African Americans, as we define them now, became a part of what it is that we see as a system, the economic driver of growth in the United States of America. The other side of it is that the Africans participated in capitalism also. They just wasn't as good as negotiators or didn't get the best side of the deal. So when the slave trade happened, it was being participated in and by not only the people that was happening for the Europeans that was then building America and capitalizing off of it, but also the Africans. They was just selling the slaves for peanuts, right? They didn't really understand how to capitalize. And so as a result, A, they got the bad end of the deal, and then B, they lost. Because in order to complete a transaction, you have to have somebody else that's willing to participate. Slavery existed way before. It's just that Europeans figured it out and they said, well, listen, we could take that problem off of y'all hands. Y'all don't want to continue to fight wars with people over and over again as survivors of these tribes that you continue to battle. Let's go into a transactional agreement. Let's go into a transactional agreement. Let's participate in capitalism. They sold their own people, participated in the Atlantic slave trade, got the bad end of the stick, and now they're saying that, wait a minute, slavery isn't right. There was black slave owners within the United States of America. Look it up. It was black people that were slave owners in the United States of America. Slavery has existed since the beginning of time. Even if you go all the way into the Bible, if you dig into the Bible, indentured servitude was a thing. So you can't complain about the very thing that you participated in just because you didn't get the good end of the stick or you didn't benefit from it as much as they did. They negotiated better than you. Let's continue.
Along with El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X, fellow Pan-Africanist, child of the Garvey movement, I would agree. Capitalism has no solutions in it for black people. But what we have amongst us is we have capitalist-minded neo-Negroes who try to seduce black people into thinking that imitating the white man's economic system offers some hope for black economic liberation. And that is totally dishonest. It is opportunistic. It has no evidence to support it.
Then why do you keep telling people to hit the Cash App then? Why do you sit here and have a conversation about affirmative action and then more money is going to be contributed into HBCUs, which then you want to force the administrators of that money to then be accountable for how it is that they spending it? Why do you talk about the economic engine that drives growth within black communities? He's wrong about it. Why are you petitioning people to send you money in order to be able to build your school then? How will you sustain this school? The proposal is that it's a tuition-based system. Well, how do you think that people are going to be able to pay for tuition for these children that you're going to educate? Just curious. I'm going to be reading Superchats shortly. Shout out to Jaleel. How do you propose that people then pay for this education? Because if you want to completely remove yourself from the system, because you're saying that you don't want anybody to play a role that is of a pale skin in the success of what it is that you're building, because you need to do for us, by us, then how do you then generate the revenue in order to maintain, to pay the teachers, to do the property taxes? How do you take care of this? How do you how do you keep the lights on? How do you keep the lights on? Love it or hate it, it's the best system. And it's not perfect, but I believe that capitalism is a phenomenal system because it rewards those that take care. Even if you want to go biblically, God rewarded those that did for themselves. Go read the story of the talents.
Capitalism has never saved anybody. It didn't save Europe. It didn't save Asia. It didn't save Africa. Capitalism is not a system that one uses to liberate.
And I am okay with him saying whatever his opinion is. What I do want him to say at the end of this conversation, though, is I want him to give us a better alternative. Because it's easy for somebody to say, I don't like communism, I don't like socialism, I don't like capitalism, but it's very difficult for them to then give you another solution while at the same time participating in it. You know what capitalism is? Let me tell you what capitalism is. Capitalism is when I reached out, or my people reached out to Dr. Umar Johnson, and he said, I would never tell what nobody's prices is. He says, listen, in order for us to come and do your podcast, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. Now, I would assume he's saying it's going to cost you X amount of dollars because this is how I value my time. This is what my worth is. So he's capitalizing off of his visibility that is then built off of a system that white people made, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So all of these platforms are then giving you an opportunity and a vehicle for you to be able to generate more revenue, such as selling your services, which is a good service, him being able to communicate online. He charges for it. And then I look at the value proposition and I say, okay, do I want to pay for your hotel? Do I want to pay for your flight? Do I want to pay for you to be able to come over here and talk? Let me look at the value proposition. Oh, okay, listen, I've built a vehicle that allows for me to be able to put that content out, possibly monetize it. This is what my return on investment is going to be. I'm willing to work and then put in that and compensate you for your time. This is capitalism. This is literally capitalism. When he says, listen, I'm doing interviews, tap in, see what it's going to cost you, and we're going to get this bag together. What do you think that is? What do you think that is?
Capitalism is the exploitation of the many by the few. Capitalism seeks to make 99% of the world the dependency of the 1% of the world. In America, we have about 100 Europeans who own more wealth than everybody else in the country. And
I'm looking for the solution. That's all I'm saying. I want to see the alternative solution Because the one thing that I see from blackity blacks a lot of times is that they always saying what they don't like. It's very difficult for them to tell you what the alternative solution is. So I'm gonna see what he got to say.
And globally, there's about 1,000 people who own more wealth than the rest of the world put together. That is capitalism. How can anyone believe that a system as exploitative, selfish, and unfair as that can be used to liberate African people? Capitalism cannot be on the table of discussion if we're talking liberation economics. As far as the privatization of industry, I believe that everything should be nationalized, or at least should be considered to be nationalized, unless the government has a rationale that would justify why any of the major industries are in the hands of private citizens. And I would dare argue that nobody but a capitalist would want to put critical industries in the hands of private citizens. For example,
I'm gonna let him finish.
Why is food?
Now I want to break down nationalism for y'all so that y'all understand what he's talking about.
In the hands of private citizens. Okay? Why is healthcare in the hands of private citizens? Why is water in the hands of private citizens? Anything that is critically necessary for the survival of humanity should never be privatized. Because when you privatize food, when you privatize land, when you privatize agriculture, when you privatize water, when you privatize medical health care, you are in essence giving individuals control over the lives of others. And
now let me tell you why things are privatized, okay? I'm going to break down exactly to you guys why privatization is good, but it's generally marketed as bad, okay? So let's go into nationalism first, right? Because nationalism is largely you basically divesting from the generalization of everything in order for you to exclude yourself for your own personal gain or interest, depending on whatever group you're a part of. So, for example, you can say, well, I don't like what's going on over there in America. And so in order to do the best thing that's in the best interest of Africa, we need to disassociate ourselves with how it is that they go about doing things, but only if it's in the best interest of us. The problem is that we're in a global society. We're in a global society. We're in a global economy. So the things that you do then affect what it is that I have going on over here. And if I want to trade with you, similar to what it is that they did when it came to the Atlantic slave trade, if I want to trade with you, then I have to be able to identify the value that I get from it. If I want to trade with you, I'll give you an example of what happens and how it affects other people. There's nations suing the largest polluters of the world right now. Why? Because it actually factors into the warming of the planet. How does that affect them? Well, some of their islands and some of the nations in which they exist in are going underwater and they're drowning because the sea levels are rising. So if the United States and China, for example, through concrete and the farming of animals for the consumption of the people, and they profit off of it, right, from a capitalistic perspective, and they feed their country and they feed their nation, and they got cars and they made modern life conveniences, and those are the ones that's contributing to the methane gas that's going into the air, which then raises up the climate temperature and melts off all of the polar ice caps and then raises the sea level, and then you not benefiting from it. What happens is your nation is then affected as a result of it while we continue to hoard all of the money. You suffer, we benefit. That's the end of, that's war. That's called digital and financial warfare. Digital and financial warfare. War is not just the thing that people go and shoot guns for. War is usually emphasized over resources based off of how it is that it's affecting what it is that's going on within your country. But the problem with this is, well, if you want to be a nationalist or you want to stand on your own, then that means that you won't petition for help from anybody. You're going to eat, survive, grow your own food, have your own military. If anything happens to you, don't ask us to come in and save you. Right? And so when I tell y'all and I break down and I say, well, listen, it's a war. But the war is not based off of whether it's a race war or anything like that. The war is a class war, because your ability to be able to compete based off of how much money you make and then leveraging those resources in order to support your lifestyle is the thing that people are fighting over. It's the reason why we having conversations based off of inflation. It's the reason why we having conversations based off of who's going into what country in the Ukraine war and all of that. Man, they don't give a fuck about Ukraine. You think that the United States and China is warring over the products that's being shipped back and forth? They're not. You know where the biggest war is? Semiconductor chips. Because those are the things that powers the technology that we're going to use tomorrow in order to emphasize or in order to make sure that our economies thrive. So basically, what am I telling you? What I'm telling you is that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. It's a combination of all. Capitalism isn't perfect, but capitalism has been the best driver in a vehicle based off of what? Based off of us using what is in our best interest in order to enrich us, and then put everybody else at arm's length of what it is that we want them to do. When we want to subject North Korea to sanctions, if we want to subject Russia to sanctions, then we can leverage the power of what it is that we've been able to build, especially from a resource and a military perspective, in order to control the rest of the world. It's not perfect, but there's always going to be winners and losers. And guess what? I'd rather be a winner than I am a loser. And losers don't get to tell winners what to do. Losers don't get to tell winners what to do.
That.
I would just like to say, add in here that, as far as we are concerned, there's basically two types of economic system. One controlled by a minority, or the one controlled by the majority. And capitalism is controlled by the minority. And if you see that, you can understand why we are experiencing so much
Capitalism
difficulty.
is not controlled by the minority. That's a myth. They will tell you, well, okay, 1% of the population owns 90% of the real estate. Okay, fair enough. But their dependency on that and the value of it is based off of your belief in it. Somebody said, why is the dollar worthless? The dollar is worthless as paper, but the dollar is not worthless based off of your belief in it. The value of a dollar is based off of whether or not you believe that it's something that we can use to buy and trade in order to make sure that we can feed ourselves and not kill each other. The value of something is your belief in it. If you don't believe in it, it has no value. Want me to give you an example? I keep telling y'all to stop buying these diamonds. You don't think that they've had the technology to grow lab-grown diamonds since the beginning of time? You don't think that lab-grown diamonds, in which is coming with the same color cut clarity, is the same as mined diamonds? You think that there was a shortage of diamonds? No. It was an artificial shortage based off of the idea that scarcity creates value, which they then can capitalize off of it, right? So what I'm telling you is that the value in it is your belief in it. It's largely believed by jewelers. I was talking to one in the airport yesterday that rubies and all of these other precious stones are more valuable than diamonds now. Ad Davis said fine art. Agreed. You know why this watch is worth more than what I paid for it? Scarcity. Your lack of ability, your inability to be able to get your hands on it, afford it, and have access to it even if you had money for it. Scarcity creates value. It's a mental manipulation of how it is that we live in society that then determines what the value of something is. More people that adopt it, the more valuable it becomes.
In our lives as people all around the world.
The European has done an excellent job. He has done a marvelous job convincing black people globally that capitalism can actually work. But when you look closely at capitalism, you can see that capitalism gives rise to poverty.
That's right.
You can't be capitalist and not believe in poverty. Because in order for the rich to get rich, they have to exploit people's labor at a low cost. If there is not,
and see, this is where they lose me. It's not exploiting people's labor at a low cost. What we're doing is we're evaluating the return on investment. And it's two different ways to look at that. It's a risk that rich people take or successful people take that allows for them to be able to capitalize off of whatever it is that they're investing in. It's because just as risky is the fact that you can lose everything. It's a lot of people. A lot of people took a lot of risk and they lost everything, and nobody talks about them. We only talk about the success stories. We don't talk about the fact that more people have become poor, lost out on everything, got their whole villages wiped out, and their entire family worth. Everything has gone down the drain as a result of the risk that's taken, right? And so when you say the return on investment, just because I pay you for your service don't mean that I'm going to be able to sell whatever it is that you make. I take a risk in which sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. And so that is the beauty of capitalism, is that there is no safety net, and your ability to be able to be successful is based off of your effort and understanding of whatever it is that you're risking it. If somebody goes and they hire him and they pay him, how does he determine the value? How does he determine how much he's going to charge somebody for whatever it is that he talks about? How does he determine the value? You know how he determines the value? Of what he thinks that you're going to make from it, or what he thinks, more importantly, not even what he think you're going to make from it, how much he think he can charge. Nobody goes into it on the other side and says, no rapper, no artist, they don't go into the shows and say, hey, what y'all going to make off of it? They look at how much they can possibly charge you, and then they go from there. And the determining factor for whether or not they're going to take your offer is for whether or not they think that they can get a better offer for the same amount of work. That's capitalism on their side, because they looking at whether or not they can get as much money as they possibly can from it. They don't give a fuck about the promoter. They don't care about whether or not you make money. I ain't never had one person that I done ever did business with, whether it was on a podcast, whether it was a paid appearance, or whether it was a show that I paid them for, ever come back to me and say, hey fam, did you do good on that investment? I have never had one person that comes back to me and say, hey, did you break even or did you do well on that? You know what they do after they get their money? Hey, thanks, fam. I appreciate you. I have never had one employee, one contractor that has ever come back to me and said, hey, I want to make sure that you benefited off of that also. They provide a service, they get as much money as they possibly can, and they keep it moving. Just as they should. The only thing I ask for is, hey, don't come back over here talking about what it is that they think that they should be making after I go ahead and bust down this fucking bag. You see what I'm saying?
A large exploitable class of cheap labor, there is no capitalism. And that's why you can always find poor people a stone's throw away from the richest businesses and corporations in any country, because capitalism is the mother of poverty. And keep in mind, all of the dysfunctional major institutions that we live under globally as African people are products or byproducts of capitalism. Mass incarceration is one of the biggest byproducts of capitalism. Why? Because capitalism is all about what? Maximum gain, minimum costs. So that means people are being laid off. I mean, look at what we've seen. Microsoft is laying off thousands. McDonald's was always a place you can go and get a job, although the food isn't worth anything nutritiously, but you could always get a job. McDonald's is laying people. Walmart is laying people off. And now that you have artificial intelligence, you talk about an economic holocaust. What are our people supposed to do when they find robots that can take over half the jobs that we are now working at to feed our families?
Want me to tell you what you do? You go and you innovate. You figure out how to add value into people's lives and then market it to them so that you can get compensation, fair compensation, based off of what you think your value is. And if they don't give you no money, then don't come back and ask nobody else for a job. Because you know what I seen? I seen people out there protesting and saying, we want $15 fucking an hour. And so when capitalism will say, well, listen, we don't think you worth $15 an hour because we made X amount of dollars and you don't give a fuck about the losses and you still stealing from me. So then capitalism says, okay, well, we're going to out-innovate. We're going to put some robots in here. We're going to put some artificial intelligence. We're going to get rid of these diversity, equity, inclusion jobs, and we're going to make more money as a result of it. How are we supposed to feed our families? Go make a product that you think that the people will support then. You can't be a beggar and complaining about the master at the same time. You can't be a beggar and complaining about the person that's providing for you at the same time.
Artificial intelligence is going to create the same problem for African people that slavery created for the European working class. And that is white men during slavery cannot feed their families. And one of the biggest reasons for the abolitionist movement was not to free black people because white folks didn't care about us, whether they was rich or poor. But white men needed work, and they saw the slave as the barrier to them being able to take care of their families. So when you study the origins of the abolitionist movement, it was not out of righteousness or religion. It was not out of a concern for the humanity of the slave. The abolitionist movement grew out of an economic necessity for white men to find work.
And you know what the interesting thing about this whole thing is, guys? At the same time that y'all saying that they gonna replace our jobs, y'all also complaining about the immigration laws that's happening in Florida that's forcing employers to then lay off illegal workers from the jobs that y'all don't want. Ooh, Anton just hit them with a bar that they don't like. You're also complaining about the jobs that you don't want to do, that you feel like is beneath you, but then at the same time saying, how we going to feed our families? You don't want to grind. You don't want to be out there picking oranges and cotton and doing the construction shit. You don't want to do none of that. You want to sit, work from home, feel good about yourself, feel entitled, get up when you want to, show up to the meeting when it's convenient for you. You do what you want to do when you want to do it, and then you want to tell other people on how it is that they're supposed to pay you because you know better than them of what the value is that you bring. It's crazy, man. Crazy as hell. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. Very, very interesting dialogue that he has. Let me read these super chats, and then we're going to move over into the next thing. Marriage, politics, and sports is in the building. I appreciate you. Says, depending on which blackity black you talk to, a Pan-Africanist has different definitions. Oh, man. You know I know. I done seen it all. Thomas, I appreciate you, big dog. Says, Anton, please make sure Pearl is okay. Richie's is leaving her. I just want to know she's good, please. What does that got to do with me? I don't know nothing about what's going on over there. Shout out to Thomas, though. I appreciate you for the fireball. Ace Duce says, just dropped off that fireball in the collection place. I appreciate you. Thank you, big dog. Jake Fever is in the building. Shout out to Jake. Jake says capitalism is okay, and most can play the game as long as the money isn't manipulated. Fixing the money will allow people to save without forced investing. Bitcoin fixes the money. Bitcoin, not crypto. Shout out to Jake Fever. I appreciate you for the 10 ball. Jaleel Stevens hit us with a couple of 2 balls. I appreciate you. He also says, but USA invented chattel slavery. Chattel slavery. Shout out to my dog Stevens, my boy. The Service USA with the fireball says the only thing works in regards to communism is the AK-47 is in the building. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. Levi the Peril is in the building, says, hello, Anton. Hello, Anton, and my Dr. Umar Johnson voice. Shout out to Levi the Peril. I appreciate you, big dog. Raphael is in the building, says, Coach, I'm about to be debt free. Thanks to Dave Ramsey's teachings. Now I'm tuning into you. Question, what Roth IRA institution would you recommend? Also, thanks for recommending Richest Man in Babylon. Listen, a Roth IRA, you can go and sign up to Fidelity.com right now. I hate saying that. I hate saying it, but I got to give you the value you asked for. I got to answer your question for the money. You can go over to fidelity.com and sign up for a Roth IRA right now online for free. For free. Raphael, email me and I'll give you a few more tips. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Jay Hunter Lee says capitalism is not controlled by the minority. It is mostly taken advantage of by the minority. Thank you, Jay Hunter Lee. I appreciate you. Supreme C is in the building. Says losers do not get to tell winners what to do. Facts. I agree with that. Persevere Data TV is in the building. Shout out to my people that was out here in these streets making it happen. Says awesome meetup this weekend, bro. I met a lot of amazing people and I can't wait to get back to the bag. Hey, I tell you this. I gave a lot of game. I told a lot of stories. I gave a lot of insight. I was even showing people some receipts. Persevere Data TV was in the building in New York. Shout out to my people. I appreciate you. Let me give you another round of applause. Appreciate you, Persevere Data TV. Omar H is in the building. Says, great meeting you at the Meetup, Anton. The stream is fire. You spitting facts as usual. As usual. Shout out to Omar H. Jay Hunter Lee says laziness is the mother of all poverty, not capitalism. Not capitalism. Zed is in the building. Shout out to Zed. I appreciate you, big dog. He says, really nice meeting you in NYC, Anton, and you and Rita are very nice. Shout out to all of my people that showed up to the Patreon meetup. I'm going to be doing another one very, very soon, right after I get back from Japan. I'm gonna just call it Japan. All right. Make sure that y'all stay tuned in. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat for y'all to be able to tap into the Patreon. Also, Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Actors, the writers just didn't go on strike. Shout out to Jay Ben. I'm gonna be reading that super chat shortly. But the actors are also on strike. Now, a lot of people will say, well, why would Tom Cruise go on strike? Well, it's not Tom Cruise. It's not Tom Cruise. It's Tom News. You see Tom News right here? Tom News with the good hair? He the one that said that they suffering. A lot of people are not familiar with the writer's strike. A lot of people are not familiar with the actor's strike. But we're going to get into it today. So I'm going to play a video for y'all in order to familiarize y'all with what's going on and why Tom News right here is saying that, listen, it's not just the people that's asking for $15 an hour protesting on the side of the road. It's not just the people that's in the manufacturing plants. It's just shout out to all of my truckers. It's not just the truckers out here that got to hustle and grind. The truckers ain't sitting here negotiating differently for their rates. You know what they got to roll with? They got to roll with the boom and the bust cycles that come along with the game. The game is the game. The game is the game. So a lot of y'all are not familiar with what's going on in the strike and why they're striking. And you're not understanding exactly how poor some of these people are. But we got some people on here that I think can give you a little bit of information. And Tom News right here, that's my nickname from him, can give you a little bit of information. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Around 160,000 Hollywood actors may be going on strike soon.
And that's because the union representing them, SAG-AFTRA, could not come to terms with major studios on a new labor deal.
SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher referred to the studio's negotiations as insulting and disrespectful. The union is demanding higher wages.
Not disrespectful. Not. You know somebody fed up when they say, oh, man, that's disrespectful. That's some disrespectful shit that you got going on out here in these streets. You know somebody feeling some type of way about whatever it is that they're making when they call it disrespectful.
Increased residual payments from streaming services and job protections from artificial intelligence for its actors.
We're joined now by one of those actors, Mehdi Barakchian. Mehdi has been in hit shows. You've seen some of them, Manifest, You, and The Last OG. It's great to have you with us and share your personal experience, Mehdi. You're protesting out there with the WGA writers. Talk to us about what this is like for you. I know you've described yourself as like a middle-class actor, and maybe even share with us some of your residual paychecks that help explain what this is all about.
Have y'all ever heard of a middle class actor? Have y'all ever heard of a middle class actor? These are the people that make middle class wages. They are not, and he is a representation of it, and he's going to talk about it. They are not the ones that's getting the big movie paychecks. They're not Margot Robbie. They're not Captain Jack Sparrow. It's not Leonardo DiCaprio, right? They not all of your classic actors. Ain't no Will Smiths in here, right? No Don Cheadles. There are more middle-class actors out here in these streets, such as whatever this guy's name is.
Absolutely. Lana, Errol, both of you, thank you so much for giving light to this issue. It's exciting as someone who's in my position, who is what I would call a middle-class actor, someone that maybe you don't recognize my face immediately, but you've seen me around on television. That's the majority of us who are in the union. That's a very small percent that are the folks that you recognize, the A-listers. And we're the ones who've been impacted by this the most.
You see him? They showing you some of his roles. He's the guy in the movie, in the regular movie, when Tom Cruise is doing his flight or is doing his stunt, he's the one that's driving the pilot scene. Or he may be the one that's, behind the clerk's office and he's giving you your package. Or he may be the one that's walking down the street with a briefcase and y'all pass through him every day. Or he's the guy that is in the fashion show with The Devil Wears Prada. He's a person that is going to be regularly featured on TV. He's a middle-class actor, and he's on regular roles, and he makes regular money like everybody else, and he's saying that this is not enough, this is egregious, and here's why.
The reality is that it used to be such that you could make a living. I'm not talking about red carpets and champagne. I mean just the standard American living by working on television as a middle-class actor, as someone who shows up as a guest star or a recurring role, which is somebody who you'll see
him?
For
Did you see him? He was the scientist that was running through. Oh my God, I can't believe you're running in here at the same time. That's him.
Every episode. And I've been very, very fortunate. That's a tremendous achievement. But the reality is we can no longer make a living doing that. Something that I may have been in 2017, 2018, 2019 would have aired on network television, and I would have been able to pay my rent, one day own a home, one day plan for a family. But the reality is that with streaming and the changes in technology and inflation, none of the current rates representing it, that we're on much older contracts.
So this is called, ta-da, capitalism. This is called capitalism. Well, Anton, in what way is this capitalism? Because this is not just affecting black people, such as what Dr. Umar Johnson just said. This is affecting everybody. Because the ways of the world is changing in a way that people consume content and music and movies and everything, so on and so forth, right? It's not just the movie theaters that's suffering. It's not just the movie houses that's suffering. It's not just Disney stock that's suffering or they're burdened with a bunch of debt. It's not just the ESPN people that's getting laid off. This poor chap right here is saying, listen, nobody's going to the movie theaters anymore, right? Technology is taking over. I used to be able to make a middle-class wage and hope to buy a home and be able to pay my mortgage and pay my credit card off. But now I can't do that anymore because my checks are short. My money is light. I don't really have a marketable skill. And the movie houses are adjusting to the new environment in which people want to consume content. And so you guys decided not to go into the movie theaters anymore. You guys decided that you didn't want to watch regular network television anymore. You said that I like Netflix. The market is the determining factor for how it is that you're going to consume content. You said that I want to watch Amazon Prime because it comes with things, right? You said that I want to watch Apple Plus TV. I would rather watch YouTube. I would rather watch Anton cook up than all of this bullshit that y'all seen on regular TV because Anton put on a better show than anybody else out here in these streets on a Millionaire Morning Show. I appreciate you. So this is the poor chap that's going to get the chop because Anton is on YouTube cooking up. That's called capitalism. That's called capitalism, big dog.
Mandy, I'm glad that you are able to speak on this, because I think that a lot of times when we're talking about actors, people are imagining those Hollywood A-listers and wondering, why are they even in the union? What are they complaining about? But in addition to talking about things like increased residual pay, there are all these other new technologies that come into play and putting into place some guardrail protections from things like AI, so that things that are streamed repeatedly still provide payment to people who are working. It's something that should have probably been discussed a while back, but now
and I appreciate your service. Thank you for being in the way. Now we taking the fuck over.
About why that's so important, and particularly that question about AI and being able to control your likeness.
Absolutely. You guys just did a segment on the avocado machine that will take the pits out of the avocados, and then a human gets to mash it afterward. That's kind of the same thing that's happening with AI. The reality is that AI is an advancement in technology. We're talking about the potential for them to be able to use our name, our likeness, our movements, our voice for future projects without our consent. And when you look at AI and what it is fundamentally, what are we talking about? We're talking about content that was created previously from lived experiences by writers, by artists, by painters, by anyone who works in those fields. And what AI is doing is taking the regurgitated average of all that and presenting it as new material. I personally believe that you're not going to be able to replace actors necessarily with that, but there is a bridge that they are trying to gap here by being able to cut us out and make more money without having to pay us. And that has to be addressed. This is very similar to the kind of issues that labor unions like Amazon labor unions and anyone who works, let's say, in a field of carpentry or in any of those fields. When you have technology coming in, there have to be changes made to the contracts so that you don't end up taking this entire middle class of workers and effectively eliminating them.
So the same way in which they're innovating on the cars, right, in which Tesla recently launched a new Cybertruck manufacturing. They built the first Cybertruck on the line, and now they're starting to do that. I can't wait to get my hands on one. In the same way that they're doing that, in the same way that they have robotics now replacing people, when Henry Ford built the first, large-scale manufacturing line that allowed for them to be able to put cars together, in the same way that they're innovating and they're replacing cashiers at your local Publix and Whole Foods and your Krogers and your Walmarts, in the same way that they're making things much more efficient and easier so that you don't have to go to a movie house or a studio, right? You can now, if you're a great artist, you go and set up in a fucking living room and you cook up and you spit them bars, right? In the same way that you don't have to go out and produce a major movie studio, right? We can cut out the middleman and go straight to Tubi, or we can go to YouTube and continue to put out great hits. It's the same way that they're innovating when it comes to these actors, right? Now, I don't blame them for going on a strike. I don't blame them for going on a fight. I don't blame them. They got to fight for whatever is theirs. But what I'm telling you is that change is imminent, and if you are not ahead of the curve, you're going to be behind it. You're going to be one of the ones that's left out in the cold. You're not going to be the person that benefits as a result of it. Change is imminent across the board. Technology will continue to replace it. See, we like it until we don't. We like it until it's on our doorstep. And so he's going to have to adjust his skills. Guess what, sir? You might have to go back to college. Nobody wants to see you running in the lab coat anymore because we're now going to be able to replace you.
And to touch on the A-listers and Hollywood folks that everyone seems to think are the ones who are complaining.
Reading Superchats shortly. Thank y'all.
They're the A-listers, the Meryl Streeps, the Julie Louis-Dreyfuses who are speaking. They're speaking for us. Those of us who don't have the voice, those of us who are working on the minimums. They don't have to worry about the minimum amount they have to make on a one-day contract, or that they have to make $26,000 this year to have health insurance next year.
You telling me these suckers ain't making $26,000? Yo, I would have been out immediately. It ain't enough love in the world for me to be working out there on these movie studios, especially in California. Yo, I would rather go and shovel dog shit than be making $26,000 an hour or $26,000 a year and trying to get healthcare coverage and water waving on camera. Couldn't be me. I'd rather go and survive on my own merits. I'm going to be shooting my own movies. I'm going to be creating my own content. I'm going to be doing whatever I got to do. But I am not going to be waiting for a movie house and begging them to pay me and make sure that my family is fed.
which more than half of us in the union can't make.
And I think that's a good point. What a lot of folks don't realize is what's being negotiated here is a baseline, a minimum amount to earn and to keep earning for the work you've already been doing. Look, it's getting heated, right? The studios say what they're offering is historic.
Absolutely.
Fran Drescher, representing SAG, says actually what they're offering is insulting and disrespectful. Do you feel a sense that things are being negotiated in good sense, or are we just witnessing a massive cultural and economic shift in front of our eyes?
I think it's both. I think what's happening here is that, look, what's going to happen in this is that we have a lot of eyes on this situation. People are paying attention to what's going to happen with us in AI because it's going to send repercussions across other industries. We're the first ones that have to face it in terms of literally facing, in terms of us being on camera and the use of that. But all the industries are going to have to come to terms with that. I think many of them are looking at SAG-AFTRA and these labor negotiations as a precedence for, okay, well, if they're able to stand up for themselves and say you can't use copyrighted material without the consent or payment to those people who originally created it, then you don't get to use it at all. And that's something that I would love to see other unions and the folks who are working across other industries to step forward and say, you know what, that makes sense because that's going to affect all of us.
It's like taking that avocado machine, dressing it up like you, naming it you, and then laying you off.
Yeah. No.
And it just is what it is. Honestly, I think that they're just trying to fight off the inevitable. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's anything that they can do about it. They can go out there and protest all that they want, and it doesn't even matter. See, I'm objective enough to say to you that it doesn't matter whether I think it's right or wrong. I don't like AI technology in that I think that deep fakes is one of the biggest things that scares me in life. I think that it's going to be such an easy way for them to be able to manipulate elections. I think it's already being used to an extent. I do. Do I like the fact that they'd be able to use their artificial look in order to create a movie without them? Absolutely not. But what I'm telling you is that innovation is imminent and there's no way that you're going to stop technology. Nobody slows technology down. Nobody slows technology down at all. So God bless them. Good luck. I wanted to give y'all a little bit of insight on what's going on with the whole actors strike and the writer's strike. Basically, these movie studios is looking to give them peanuts. Peanuts. They're looking to give them peanuts because they're not making as much money anymore. And so they're changing their business model. And usually what happens when people reject and they want things cheaper, better, faster, it's the middle class that suffers as a result of it. It's the middle class that suffers as a result of it. So this is what y'all created. This is the bed that y'all have to lay in. The consumers are the ones that determine the course of action. Ben, my dog, Jay Ben is in the building. Shout out to you, says. Shout out to the folks who made the trek to NY for the meetup. The vibe and the networking was amazing. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. My guy, Jay Ben, showed out and showed up all the way out here from Arizona. Shout out to my Arizona peoples. People be loving Time Dog. They love Time Dog. Aaron says, what's good, bro? Good to see you in NYC this past weekend. Back Chasers, we up. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron showed up. I appreciate you, big dog. Andre Magruder is in the building. Shout out to Andre Magruder. Says AI with chatbots like ChatGPT is one of the greatest levelers that there has ever been. It's a genie in a box, and it absolutely is. Absolutely is. I think that there's going to be some, I'll share that with y'all in a minute. Brittany B is in the building. Shout out to Brittany is in the building. Says, tell that man GM is hiring and to move to the Midwest. He'll be just fine. Run that check, bro. And get your big boy pants on, and we're going to put you on the line, and we're going to make sure that you get the money to be able to feed your family. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brittany B. I appreciate you. Performance Chip is in the building. Says, reminds me of the 22-year-old clown and his girlfriend. Appreciate you, big dog. Chris J is in the building. Says, well, I see at least two options worth considering. A, get a better agent with negotiating skills. Or B, get a better acting coach. I could be wrong. Or C, they might have to get another job, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Chris J. Aaron is in the building. Says, can't make a blockbuster movie without a script or good side characters. Production needs them. Scarlett Johansson sued Disney for the same thing. Well, we're going to see what they need. We're going to see what they need because the people are the ones that determine what they need. The consumers. You know what I'm saying? Chris J's in the building says, I make more money than some actors. Oh my, you sure do. Especially the bag chasers, you sure do. Brock says, Pass a Love offering, phenomenal show as always. Greatest morning show ever. Ever. Also, Aaron came through with the super chat. He says, they say it's already a $3 billion hit to the studios. The actors could get other jobs, but those studios going to lose big if they wait too long. I don't know. The studios are saying we down for the long haul. We down for the long haul. Sharon, shout out to Sharon. Sharon came through. Him and the wifey. Shout out to wifey. Absolutely lovely woman. Says, the wife and I enjoyed ourselves this weekend. #Backchase. Man, if y'all not a part of the Patreon, if y'all not kicking it with me in person, if y'all not a part of the Patreon and kicking it with me in person, what y'all doing? The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Sharon was there. Mrs. Bracy was there. Tap in. Black Beauty was there. Tap in. All right? Listen, I put on the greatest events. All love, no riffraff, no victim Olympics. We running a checkup. All right, so let me get to the next story. Make sure y'all get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I got something final that I want to share with y'all. This is a woman that was on TikTok. Natasha says she's going to be looking up this water waving. A woman that was on TikTok, a TikTok plastic surgeon that lost her license. A TikTok. Now, the thing that I want y'all to tell me right here when we having this conversation and we evaluating this story, did she lose her license because of TikTok? Or did she lose her license because she was just negligent? Was TikTok the thing that got her canceled as far as her license? Or was she just negligent? Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Yeah. I'm going to be reading. Oh, and make sure that y'all tune in tonight. We doing a live stream. I'm going to be on the live stream. Me, Q. It's going to be on the Anton Daniels channel. It's going to be lit. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, y'all.
She's the famous physician known as Dr. Roxy. You could travel the world. She live streamed plastic surgery on TikTok, gaining a huge following.
So if you want to get in the OR and see behind the scenes and how this stuff works.
But now, Dr. Roxy, whose real name is Catherine Grawy, has been permanently stripped of her license by the state medical board in Ohio.
A lot of y'all don't understand, in my opinion, that a lot of y'all are really going to lose out on the bag because of social media. I don't think y'all really understand the power of social media. In the same way that you get a whole lot of TikTok followers, I'm not really sure that you're making money as a result of that, though. Was TikTok worth it? Was TikTok worth it? Was all of the popularity? Man, listen, man. I've seen some people do some crazy shit for a like for the YouTube algorithm. I've seen some people start some crazy channels, say some wild things. Y'all want to get a heart on Threads or on Instagram. You wanted to get your TikTok following up as though those people in the comments mean anything. And you done had your medical license. You a surgeon. You've had your license for years. You've never had a problem, not one problem. And you want to push the envelope of what it is that you want to show to your people. Shout out to Mr. Regular. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. I had a conversation over the weekend on Fight Club, and I said to people, I said, man, listen, people doing it for less. They kept telling me what they wouldn't do for money. I said, y'all are lying. Y'all lying. You know how I know you lying? Because I see people crash out for likes, let alone for some money. I seen people crash out for likes and popularity. Man, if y'all put a picture up there on Instagram and it don't get enough likes, y'all be taking that picture down. I seen some of y'all. Some of y'all put a picture up on Instagram, and if you don't feel like it's getting enough traction, you're going to be embarrassed because you so worried about what everybody else think. If your picture don't get enough likes, you be fumbling. Let me get this up here. I don't want nobody to know that I posted that picture. What about what you like? Nah, you doing it for the clout. You doing it for the gram.
Dr. Roxy claims that this will change her life forever. Well, she has single-handedly forever changed the lives of at least 3 people.
The board said its decision was based on her failure to meet standard of care following evidence that she botched 3 surgeries. Kelsey Cardenas went to Dr. Roxy for a breast lift.
I found her on TikTok. I definitely connected with her personality.
Kelsey says she watched videos of Dr. Roxy performing surgeries every day for months.
Did you talk to any patients or anything like that?
No, I didn't know anybody who had had surgery.
So, here's my question. You found your surgeon based off of the popularity contest on fucking TikTok. You decided, yo, hold on. I know that they brought the surgeon to the front of the congregation and said, yeah, you was doing it for the clout. You over here fucking up the bag. We got to take your license. At what point do we also hold the fools that's out here picking their surgeons based off of a TikTok video, family? At what point do we also start bringing the people to the front of the congregation that picked a surgeon based off of a Katy Perry song that was playing in the back of a TikTok video? Man, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all picking y'all surgeons off of TikTok? Who else you picking your people off of TikTok from? Huh? Who else? This is why I show the receipts. This is why I show my bank account. This is why I show my properties. This is why I show what it is that I make on my W-2s at my regular job. This is why I show y'all shit. Everybody say, well, Anton always stunting. He always showing his cars. He always showing his bank accounts. No, I'm qualifying myself because it's so easy for y'all to get finessed by people that y'all don't even understand. You pick somebody that ain't got no. You pick somebody off of a TikTok video, bro. You niggas will listen to anybody. You take anybody, anything in. Anybody. You went under the knife. You went under the knife based off of a woman that you see on TikTok. Y'all wilding. Y'all are wilding out here in these streets.
So you assumed because she was this TikTok personality that she was going to do a great job on your breasts.
Yeah.
You can't make this up, bro. I wouldn't even, listen, I would be so embarrassed that I would not even be on camera saying this. I would be so embarrassed. Listen, it's one thing to pick a restaurant. Oh man, I seen this new restaurant that opened up, man. This girl was talking about it on TikTok. It's one thing to pick a restaurant. It's another thing to see like a car review on YouTube or something. It's one of the best sources for car reviews ever. When y'all start picking your defense attorney, if I see you niggas picking your defense attorney off of TikTok, we gonna have a problem. If I see you picking your defense attorney off of TikTok, we got a problem. If I see you start making your sport, man, listen.
You're brave enough to live stream surgery and you're that transparent, you would just assume, that she's not having the issue she was having.
But Kelsey says she suffered major complications.
By 4 weeks, I had a 5x5 wound under that breast.
She live streamed your surgery.
She did.
Do you feel that could have contributed to what happened? Do you think she wasn't paying attention?
Rewatching it, I saw a couple cuts that she made when she was clearly talking to the camera or focusing.
Fam, this is the very thing you signed up for. Okay, so She found her. Listen to this. She found her and picked her based off of the fact that she was watching her do surgeries on other people. And then she went and signed up to get her surgery live streamed. And now she want to sit here and complain about the fact that she was talking to people on TikTok while she was doing her surgeries. Nigga, what did you think? Dog, if I'm the judge, I'm throwing this shit out. Man, we need to start giving these people a reality check. If I'm the judge, I'm throwing this out. I don't see what the problem is here. You got what it is that you asked for. You participated in the very thing in which you loved. Now you want to sit here and complain about it. Take your L. Take your L. I don't believe that this woman should be able to get any settlement. I don't think she deserves $1, a dime, a nickel, a penny. I don't think that she should get $5 off of this shit. You just literally admitted to the fact that you do this. You was watching her. You signed up for it. You participated in it. Now you want to sit here and complain about what it is that you got as a result of it. What did you think was going to happen? When we used to, back in the day, when these chicks first started getting butt injections and all of this, and we used to see their butt and it was looking like a brick, and they went and picked their surgeon based off of everybody else that was going to some basement in Atlanta getting cement inserted into their butt, and then it started sagging down to their knees. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? You didn't look at no reviews. You didn't qualify her by saying that, oh man, she been doing it for this long or this long. You enjoyed some TikTok videos, and then you went in there and you went and got live streamed because you thought that it was going to get you popping too. And now you want to sit here having a conversation. If I was a judge, I would throw that shit out immediately.
Focus on what she was saying to them.
Kelsey says she finally went to another doctor.
He said there's no way this is ever going to look normal again.
Dr. Roxy had no comment about being stripped of her license.
No comment today, thank you.
Hey man, get that lady her license back. Get that lady her license back. She's a TikTok surgeon, and these hoes is too stupid to not sign up for it. So if they want to be on the live stream, let them catch that L. Let them catch that L. So I see two idiots right here. I see one idiot that felt the need to push the envelope as far as live streaming a fucking, like they didn't understand the liability that came along with live streaming somebody's surgery, somebody's plastic surgery on TikTok. And then I seen another idiot that signed up for the surgery to get live streamed on. Two idiots. These are the people that's able to qualify to become surgeons, and then the people that got enough money to go and get fucking plastic surgery on TikTok. Dummies, man. Idiots. So these are the people that exist in America, and this is why society is going down the way that it is. God bless you. I think that she got everything that she deserved in this conversation. All right? Let me read a couple more super chats, and we're going to get y'all up out of here. Let's see what we got up here. Mr. Regular is in the building. I appreciate you, Mr. Regular. Says, ego will get you killed. Don't kill yourself trying to bring back the past and evolve your skills and get ahead of your future. Natural selection always runs its course. Facts. 100% facts. Shout out to Mr. Regular. I appreciate you for the 20 ball, my friend. Captain DDR is in the building. Says, Saturday night was a vibe. Blessed to meet AD and his beautiful wife. Probably came off as a groupie. I don't give a fuck. I show love when it's felt. Great event because we bag chasers. We up. Ain't nobody come off as nothing outside of just good, genuinely nice people for us to be able to vibe with, have a good time with, and have good drinks, good energy, a lot of love, a lot of game, a lot of networking, a lot of awesome things. I even gave him my signature speeches. All right? Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me also give a shout out to Mike That Dude, right? Mike That Dude has been holding me down on Cash App as far as supporting what it is that we got going on over here for a long time. Mike That Dude, shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you for holding me down, bro. You are absolutely awesome. All right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for rocking out with us, family. Till tomorrow. Make sure that y'all tap into me and Q tonight on the Anton Daniels channel. We live streaming tonight. We getting it popping. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace, fam.